All right, welcome back, everybody, and we are now going. Let me lower this down here a little bit. Open the public hearing up for the budget. And our town administrator is going to walk us through the budget.
Oh, wait, you don't need the PowerPoint right now?
No.
Oh, yeah, you do. All right, so. Sorry, I muted my microphone. We'll go through line, departments. You want her to put the budget up?
Yes, please.
Put the budget up.
One second, Jamie, can you get rid of that stripe that's going across the people that are on Zoom? Thank you. Go for it.
Why is there 7?
Huh? No, I sent it to you tonight.
Yeah, last one.
All right, so assessing, staying the same, and it's a contract. Building safety, it's our inspectors. The reason that it's 60,404 is that, we get reimbursed from the inspectors, revolving fund for the whole budget. So whatever the budget comes out to be, we get reimbursed. And it's very hard to budget for the inspectors' pay because it's based on fees, so we never know what we're gonna get. So, it was never properly budgeted for in the past, and that's why there's such a big increase. But we do get completely 100% reimbursed for that. So there's technically no tax impact for that section of the budget.
So exactly what Paula said is what happens is he goes out, performs the inspections, the fees that get charged for those inspections get put into a fund, and then at the end of the year, we appropriate the money out of that fund as per the warrant article that passed years ago to cover the necessary cost for his salary and/or supplies.
Correct.
Can I ask a question about this?
Sure, please step up to the mic, please. Identify yourself. Thank you.
Jay Pramberg, resident. I understand the warrant article, and I understand what y'all are saying, but I looked at the last 9 years, which is how long we've had that warrant article for the special fund,
Which special fund are you talking about?
where they put the inspection fees.
Right.
Okay.
It's a checking
Sorry,
account.
I'm just making sure we're all on the same page.
There's a 2015 checking account for the building department, or inspection of.
For the fees, right.
If I look at the expenses for the last 9 years, they total 178,000. I'm going to use round numbers.
So it doesn't, that expenses that you're talking about isn't including salaries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the cost of running the building department. It averages just under 20,000 a year, except for the last 2 years.
Right, and that's why I said it was, the pay was never properly calculated. So his fees, his stipend came out of the budget. That's why the budget numbers are lower if you look at the prior years. His actual fees came out of the inspector's bank account. I'm gonna call it the inspector's bank account.
So he wasn't on payroll.
He is on payroll,
He
but
is on
it's two different
payroll,
things. He
but
gets
it
paid.
wasn't reflected.
Right,
in
he
the
gets
budget.
paid based on fees and a stipend. So,
The disbursements out of the treasurer's, out of that checking account is how the town gets reimbursed for his salary.
Exactly.
Right. So
Yes.
So against $177,000 in expenses, they've dispersed $330,000 from the checking account.
yes,
The warrant article says that you can only use the money to reimburse the department.
It is reimbursing the
It is
department.
That is reimbursed.
Whatever the
He's got,
expenses,
there's 178,000 in expenses.
I don't know where you're getting the 178,000.
You go to every town report
Yep,
for the last 9 years, and the expenses are listed.
Right, that's what we're saying, that prior to the last year, his salary wasn't properly taken into account in the budgets that you're looking at in the town reports. It was not in there. That was the problem that we addressed. That's why there's a
So-
huge difference now.
What it is it's,
What I'm worried about is the difference between the cost of running the department, which is the expenses that are in the budget. You know, you've got a line item there for expenses this year was, it's not completed, but it's about 58,000 this year.
right.
So you can go to the town reports, and when you look at the budget worksheet, and it tells you what the prior year's expenses were.
Right, his salary wasn't included in that.
Yes.
That's
Correct.
the issue.
Where was it?
They were just taking that.
It was just under that revolving fund. It was by
They were
law.
writing checks from the revolving fund to him as payroll checks?
Nope, it was coming out of payroll, but it was never booked properly.
Well,
I- is-
there were disbursements from that fund, except for 23 and 24. The last 2 years, nothing came out of that fund. But they were all, in a year, in 2016, there was $18,000 in expenses, and $64,000 got dispersed.
so that's an incorrect statement, sir.
Yeah.
Because we just took a withdrawal out for, and the problem is.
For the last 2 years.
The town has been struggling with somebody to take over the finance position here. We finally have Paula. So Paula has been trying to get all these funds and the monies and everything that we're talking about properly in the lines that they belong. And you're correct. There was no money that had been taken out of that because we weren't aware of it and that it wasn't being addressed. Paula has since addressed that, so that at the end of this year, last year, she withdrew money for 2024 and 2025 in one sum to be put back in
In 2023
to the payroll.
as well?
2023, 24, and 25. Yep,
What-
I reimbursed,
Do you know a ballpark number of what the total was?
not off the top of my head right now, it was 100 and something. But we reimbursed completely whatever the actuals were for those years, the actual expenses.
Because we did,
140,000 would sound about right.
yeah,
Yep.
because we did get your email and we did talk to the treasurer to make sure that the money's to come out of the account. Was it you that sent the email asking, or a letter asking about this? Somebody did from town, about wanting to know why that account had so much money in it and why the monies weren't being withdrawn the way they should. So it might not have been you, but somebody did. And between that and then Paula going through and getting our finance department back into shape, we were able to see that, we were able to address it, and then we took care of it with the help of our treasurer, Lisa Gagne.
Well, except for the last 2 years, where the department's running at close to $60,000 a year. I actually had an issue with the permit fees, because the receipts tend to run close to 60,000, and the expenses were always under 20. So I thought I was being grossly overcharged for building permit fees. I can't really say that now, because the cost of running the department has tripled.
Yes.
Well, it hasn't tripled. It's being accurately reflected now.
You're seeing what the
That's the
true
difference.
figures are, yes.
It
That's
was
all
not
it is.
accurately reflected before. Prior years, it was not accurate. And we can't go back and fix it.
Yeah.
So the
But-
only best we can do is fix it going forward, right?
Yeah.
So now his salary and his stipend is correctly reflected in the current budgets.
So what you're saying is exactly correct. The figures you were looking at were misconstrued. So when you looked at it, it was not lining up the way it should. So now we have adjusted that so that it does line up, and those figures are correct in the way they should be.
Can I shift gears? Staying
Go
on
for
topic. Sure. If the department's gonna run at 60,000 a year, and it looks like the receipts run about $60,000 a year, why do we need to increase the budget? The department's self-sustaining.
We're not increasing the budget, we're properly reflecting the actual budget.
This way here, people, when they look like you, when they
Because
look it
per-
up, they'll see what it costs to run that department.
Per RSA's, you have to show the appropriation to spend. So if the money is not shown in the budget, we cannot spend. So we have to show the 60,000.
Well, actually, you can show it, but you're probably only gonna get 29,465. You're gonna get the default.
What?
Chances are your budget is gonna be, once again, be the default budget. I understand that you're budgeting for what you think you need, but I'm telling you, you're probably not gonna get that.
That is fine.
Well, it doesn't matter. We have to, we have to proper.
You got a $30,000 budget, and you'll spend
In the
60.
figures.
Well, it was frustrating to see the difference between what it cost to run the department and what the receipts were for the department. And it's frustrating to see that the town wasn't reimbursing themselves, and we're building up money in a checkbook that can only be spent on the wages at the department.
fix it.
Yeah, we're trying to
And
fix
all
it.
I can tell you is you were feeling our frustration of how frustrating it was in order to get somebody as qualified as Paula to be able to come in and run the department properly so that we can address this and we know exactly where we sit with the money that we're spending, the town's money. Because we basically were flying kind of blind and trying to spend what was in our budget and not go over budget and make sure that the town was taken care of.
Well, there was always
No, that's the
There was
truth.
always a couple $100,000 sitting in the checkbook.
That's the truth. We didn't go over, we managed to stay within the budget, but what I'm telling you is, we were chewing on our fingernails because we had nobody in the office that was properly putting the figures where they belonged, so we knew what was going on with those accounts. And now we have that.
And I'm pretty sure that most of the departments in town have their own fund.
No,
Police,
No,
fire,
no, they have-
transfer station.
No.
Some sort of fund.
they have their own budgets, they don't have their own funds.
But
With the exception
there's
of
a
the
lot of checkbooks.
there's a lot of different accounts for capital reserves and whatnot, which operate very different than
Right.
this account where the fees go in there.
But-
The only other one where fees go into is the transfer station. So if you pay to get rid of your mattress, it goes into a certain fund for the transfer station. But the police department doesn't have a fund that grows by fees that go in it, with the exception of like a police detail, which gets paid out the other way. So it's not like that.
So this is the only one in the town that this happened to. If you know, when you,
Except for the one for the transfer station, yes.
but you're certain that one is accounted for correctly?
Yes.
The transfer
Yep.
station, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the only account.
This is the only one that we found that the salary wasn't being properly accounted for, essentially, is this budget specifically. Am I right, Paula? It was just this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
All right, well, I hope that we were able to answer your questions for you. Go ahead.
The next department is cable. It's pretty much the same, it's just the actual payroll. Care of tree expenses is the same. cemetery, budget went up a little bit for grounds, based on the contracts. Conservation, went down just a little bit, because they found there were some expenses they didn't need. Election, sorry, a lot of pages. Elections went up based on salaries. Emergency management, that is another one that, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So emergency management, we get fully reimbursed for Seabrook. Therefore, again, it was never budgeted for properly, and we didn't have really any drills for a year. So we added 21,750 to the budget to cover the expenses that we get 100% reimbursed from the state, from Seabrook.
That would be when we have the drills.
Once the drills happen, I think they start in April, I could be wrong. And we send it to the state and we get reimbursed for that. Executive and finance, financial administration, I'm going to kind of talk about at the same time. The reason executive went up so much and financial administration went down was due to my position. My position was two different positions. So part of it, town admin used to be was in executive, finance director was in financial administration. Now I'm one position. So that whole salary moved from the finance director salary, left financial administration and is in executive with the town admin. So it's one salary now. That is the biggest change there, I believe. Let me just double check. We also cleaned up some accounts and combined them. Things were just a little all over the place. Then for financial administration, auditing just went up just a little bit based on our contract. The equipment lease is the same. And everything, the town website went up a little bit because of, again, a contract. So it's the contract fees. So that's why those went up and changed. Tax collector went down just a little bit. Okay, fire department. So last 2024, the town voted to cover 24/7 services. But there was no salary amount put into that warrant article. Therefore, it went to default budget in '25, so there's no funding to fund 24/7 service. So the budget is right now just showing what it would cost for call members, going back and getting rid of 24/7 service. And we'll talk about it after, but we have a warrant article for the amount for salaries to have cover 24/7, which will, if that passes, will get added into the regular budget. Otherwise, most everything else stayed the same for that department. Protective clothing went up just because the fees for all their gear is it's just the economy. Forest fires pretty much stayed the same. The library, It's just a little bit, and some costs for the bookkeeper, some payroll costs. It's minimal, the difference, just prices of books and supplies. Government buildings will show a big increase. That is because we used to have all the IT under each department, and now we're putting it all under this one, in this one bucket. So that's where that big difference is there. I don't think there was
So will
really,
the other budgets to reflect,
what?
will the other budget?
Yes, the
other
IT
reflect
is
that?
out of those other
Okay,
budgets.
okay.
Yep,
I just want to make sure.
yep. Oh, and dumpsters went up, or no, electricity went up. Again, it's just the cost of electricity, there's nothing.
When's that contract up for electricity?
For Unitil? There's no,
With the Constellation?
Constellation,
next, at the end of this year,
end of this year,
Fiscal or calendar year?
26,
calendar.
yeah.
So we as a board should be aware of that, because now is the time you're starting
Yeah.
to see markets dip.
There's a couple that we're gonna have to
Yeah,
go
we're gonna want to
after,
make sure
so,
we
yeah.
take a good
Yep.
purchase off the table.
Once this is done with this, we'll start visiting the contracts that we need to go out for.
Yep.
Health officer stayed the same, highway is the same. Insurance, went up just based on our rates, for our insurance policies. Legal went up a few thousand, based on some upcoming things that we know are coming in this year. The personnel administration, which is the benefits, increased because health insurance increased, dental increased, and then just things not properly budgeted for in the past. Pest control is just based on our contract, so that's what that raised. Planning board is pretty much the same, it just increased a little for salaries. Police department. And if anybody has questions on anything, stop me. Police department increased because they have a new, I'm gonna call it police software, what is it? Chief, your new software? They're, I'm gonna call it police software, but it's the software that they use in the, yeah, in the, cruisers and everything. It's mandated, it was mandated that all police departments in the state, in Rockingham County switched to this new software. So that was the increase in that. It was,
That and another officer's position?
yes,
One of the biggest increases was the 9th position that we never hired.
yep.
That's my, yeah.
Recreation, we have a rec director now, that will be here for the full year, whereas last year wasn't really for the full year, I don't believe. And then they're creating new programs and everything for our community. So that explains that. Solid waste, the biggest change was, again, the salaries never being properly calculated in the budget, and also the contracts for our disposal. And
Which is up again this year that we're gonna
yep,
have
it goes
to be
up every year.
revisiting.
There's a, in the contract, it shows how much it goes up, so that's what that is. Street lighting, it's what the expense is, and then welfare. is pretty much the same. And zoning is, again, it went up because of payroll, because of, just the hours that they put in. And then our bond will go down, a little bit, and our bond payment. And that is where we get to the $5,290,762 budget.
So we're gonna change that now that I'm looking at this again. I know. But you go to health officer,
We forgot to put that in.
gotta put that in completely. So, you probably need to give me that number. We'll try to figure that number out. We spent, current 2025 is 6195.
That is about
So
what?
if that's about right,
Yeah,
we can add that to
To the
both the
budget.
default and the proposed.
yeah,
I'll let you do the math for when we get to that,
61,
95.
I'm sorry, I'm holding this and,
I get it.
all right.
If we fix it now, it'll be easier later, so.
Yep.
That was the only revision that I saw while I was looking at it.
We missed that.
Yeah, dude, at some point, you know they just blur on me, right? But yeah, I'm glad we did what we're doing now. I was able to catch it, so. So yeah, that'll be in the proposed.
It would be $5,296,957.17.
I'm gonna ask that number again, but that's okay.
Yes, right now?
Yeah,
Give me a
Tell me
second.
when.
Let me get there.
this is for the proposed 2026.
Go.
$5,296,957.17.
Okay.
The offsetting revenue, oh, you
No,
don't care about that.
default.
The default is $5,255,170.
No, you gotta add that 61.
Oh, that's right. $5,261,371.65.
Okay, thank you.
The budget is a $3.03 impact, and the default budget is $3 impact, tax impact.
So what you're saying, there's a 3-cent difference between the two
Correct. Per thousand.
per 1,000, yeah. Okay.
You said it was 3-cent difference per thousand?
Yeah. Between the two.
Those numbers aren't gonna make sense now.
Huh?
Nothing.
That's minimal. That's minimal.
I mean, obviously, the budget's up, but everyth's up.
Everything's up.
You know what I
If
mean?
you
Like,
don't-
we-
If you don't think anything's up, come talk to me.
We can only control so much.
Yeah.
Contracts, cost of doing business, everything is up. I feel like we did do our best to keep it minimal, you know? But yeah, it's still up. Guess.
I will say, the current numbers are pretty much what they're going to be.
The
There might
current
be,
2025 spend.
yep, there might be a few bills that come in, but we are over 123,000.
Yep. So for everybody, I guess I'll take the lead on this.
Go ahead. Did
So-
you want me to go over default after?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can. So we overspent our budget by $129,000, and the reason why that budget was overspent was because we got handed a default budget last year by the voters, and the year before that, the voters wanted us to do 24/7 fire EMS. So because of that, we were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. The voters voted for us to do 24/7. But then the next year, they didn't vote for us to fund it through the budget. So that is why the budget's overspent. We were able to utilize a fund that was set up in 2024 to pay for that overage. So it didn't come from anything else other than that single fund. So part of that this year, you'll see on the warrant, there's something that's separate completely for the fire department being 24/7 with money attached to it. So we couldn't get any more basic than this is what it costs to be 24/7.
And we also had the ambulance of 109,000.
And we had the
that
ambulance
did not-
contract that was in there by default for 109,000, 135, whatever it was,
So if that was not in the budget, in the default budget, we would have been over 232,000.
which is what I expected, which is what exactly, we talked about, Chief, absolutely, that was the number. So you can't add that ambulance contract back in this year for this year's default. Can't do it, because you can only do it for 1 year. And we can't do it again. We were able to do 24/7 this year, and it wasn't even a full 24/7. If you had to guess, Chief, percentage-wise, was it the percentage that it was staffed? It wasn't 100.
Chief, microphone, please.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, Chief, but we gotta do this, right? So,
The first 3 months, we're not staffed 24/7 because we didn't know the
you
budget.
didn't know the way
so
it was
we
gonna go,
saved
right?
what we had, and due to the default budget, the holidays were not staffed. There was a bunch of weekends not staffed, day shifts. If I had to guess, 80%, 90%.
Okay.
And obviously, we bring it forward. If that article fails, it's just going to be the opposite. We'll be 24 the first 3 months, and then the rest, we go back to, I think, 8, depending on what's left. We'll be like 8 to 4.
8 to 4.
Monday through Friday,
Sure.
and that's it.
Okay.
So if your first 3 months weren't staffed, 24, then your staffing was probably more like 60% at 100%.
Yeah.
Because if you're taking the weekends out, and you're taking the holidays, and you take the first 3 months, and you were not staffed anywhere near 70%.
No.
I think he's just taken that,
9-month window?
Exactly. Just that window.
of that 9-month
I will
window,
tell you, if you look at that 9-month window, you're still probably only at 75%.
And I'll be honest, I stood up here before the 24s, and I'll stand up here. Town got lucky. We only had
Oh,
a couple.
yep,
So,
I know.
that's a big hit.
we agree,
That warrant.
Chief, we agree.
Getting
We-
closer to that age, chief, I worry about it more every year.
We're trying to do this in a way that it benefits everybody, it's fair to everybody, everybody gets their input on it, you
Yep.
know,
Oh,
so
I agree with the board.
we appreciate that.
Yep.
So briefly, go ahead.
No.
No, I'm good. That's why the budget was overspent. That's how the town was able to cover that overspending. If we didn't have money in that fund, there would have been no way, we would have told the chief, you have to go back to 8 to 5 because we can't afford it. There's no money to be spent. Because we had that money in that account, we were able to fund it to the end of the year in the next 3 months, apparently. So that's where we're at. So if we go back, if this fails, we are 8 to 4, 8 to 5 fire department. We are no longer a 24/7 fire department. Hopefully enough people realize that, come out to vote, whatever way they want to, and that's gonna be the will of the people.
So with that being said, chief, I know we're gonna put you on the spot, I didn't prep you. What does that do for us, or what jam does that put your department in and your fellas and ladies for mutual aid? If you can't respond and help others, what does that do to you?
Time will tell.
Okay,
I've had a few people already ask me, and I've said this once before, my recommendation is if we go to default, or the article fails, get a to-go bag, full tank of gas, work smoke detectors, work in CO detectors and collars, 8 to 5, because you're on your own after. And you gotta rely, we had an incident, a rollover on Christmas.
yep,
Amesbury was unavailable. I believe Plastow arrived. We had back-to-back medicals a couple of weeks ago. Plastow was unavailable, Amesbury was unavailable, Kingston, East Kingston, Merrimack. We had to have the crew come back from mutual aid in Kingston to grab the ambulance, the second ambulance, to do the call. So just picture that. I said it last year during default. Do not be surprised if you see an out-of-town ambulance and fire truck arrive at your house. In reality, there's nothing none of us can do. If the voters vote no, then it's no.
Okay. I just want it out there.
And a lot of people have to understand that too, Chief, about mutual aid. Mutual aid is when towns go back and forth helping one another out.
It's mutual.
You're right, exactly. A lot of people don't understand the definition of mutual, and they just think that we don't need to man our fire station and that we can just expect other people to come and take care of us, and that is not the case, because Chief has stood up there and expressed the fact that other towns will start to charge money to come into our town in order to cover the services that we are not paying for.
And I'm sure Newton would do the same if a surrounding town's budget failed.
Right.
And Newton was going every day to another community, and the taxpayers of Newton were taking the burden.
Right.
I'm sure the taxpayers wouldn't like that either.
Sure.
So
I get
it's,
it. Absolutely.
And the major problem with that is what Chief was alluding to, is the response time. If somebody is in their house having a heart attack and there is no response within, what's the appropriate time, Chief?
well, Deputy Cook and I and Lieutenant Wilder did a survey from 23, 24. It was about 16 to 18 minutes to your door. Station staff within 6 to 8 minutes to your door. So you take your pick.
Which means your odds of surviving that heart attack are a lot better than the latter part of it. And that's just one instance.
And the biggest thing, again, from our standpoint, was when the department was a call department, the town had Trinity coming in to do the transport.
Right.
There's not a lot of members that live in the town of Newton. I can tell you, for a structure fire, we'll do okay. But for a lift assist, or helping somebody from their house, carrying them out of the house and putting them in their car like we did this afternoon, I'll stand right up here and tell you, repeat customers, lift assist and stuff, you're gonna be waiting a long time. Because 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't know too many that are gonna come out of bed.
Well, Chief, make sure you're here for deliberative.
Tricia would like to make a comment.
Absolutely love to hear from Tricia.
Oh, does she have to call me?
No, I think we're working today.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Trish.
Nope.
Okay.
1 second, Trish.
Jamie's on it.
She's at the beach.
Keep talking, Tricia.
Okay, let me know.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I just wanted to remind people in TV land that are listening to this, as the chief elaborated and Chairman Bob about mutual aid, also the other key component is mutual aid means when they're available. Just because we have mutual aid, as the chief said many times, other towns are trying to come in, and the closest one might not be available, so we have to opt out to the next one in line. So it is so important to understand the definition of mutual aid is also when available. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trish.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
You ask if anybody has public comment on it, on the budgets, before I move on to the warrants.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other comments about the budget? Anybody out there on Zoom?
See anybody? No hands.
Anybody in here?
take it.
So,
No?
okay.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move,
Hold on.
We do have James Summers.
Sure.
Okay.
James, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
okay, Jim, good.
Questions for you all.
Yep,
One is, I noticed when you were going through the budget, there was a $100,000 increase this year for retirement. That wasn't there last year. And secondly, I was asking about the RSA for anything that was up the State House or anything that was, any positions, salary positions that were not filled must be returned back to the taxpayers or returned back to the budget.
What is he saying? Repeat that for me, Jim, I didn't hear you.
Okay, two things. One is in the budget, when you were going through the Excel spreadsheet, I noticed there was a line item for an increase of $100,000 for retirement.
See that?
Secondly, with using the neutralized RSA from the state, if there was any unfilled positions of last year in which the salaries must be returned back to counter what the overall budget is. So was there any unfilled? And if so, is it being returned back like it's supposed to be?
So I can tell you right now that it's not, because we overspent our budget.
And we filled,
Going against that 100,000 that was overspent, correct?
What's that?
no, that 100,000 that was overspent was purely the fire department to fund 24/7 service. I will say that we are fully staffed this year. So we didn't have any open positions.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was any open positions.
no, we filled all the positions last year, Jim.
Do they have a warrant article officer then in place?
A warrant article what?
A warrant article officer in place?
Warrant article.
A warrant article officer? What is that?
Code enforcement, I'm sorry.
No, there's no code enforcement. What?
Code enforcement officer is the building inspector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one
Sam
position.
Zanini. He does both positions.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And the reason retirement went up is because if you look at 24 in prior years, they just kept putting the same amount in the budget, but it wasn't what the actual expense to the town was.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Anybody else?
I don't see anybody.
Sounds good. Make a motion.
Okay.
Nope, hold
we'll
on a
move
second.
on to the warrant articles.
1 second before we do warrant
Yeah,
articles.
you wanna-
Paula, did you want to do default?
Well, I kind of.
You kind of did, yeah. We can do warrant articles. No, we'll do it this way. That's fine. All right, we're going to talk about the warrant articles that we have.
And I do have the tax impact if you want.
Okay, they're estimated right now. Okay. All right, so warrant article 1 obviously is the election of officers. That one's on there every year, just like the rest of these. Warrant article 2. Now, before I start reading these, the amounts in them will be correct. Some of the wording may change, and the intent is correct, but again, some of the wording may change. Shall the town of Newton raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not included appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $5,296,957.17. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $5,261,371.65, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Newton or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13X and XVI to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. Majority vote required. Anybody have any questions about that?
That's standard.
Just, reiterate that the slide is incorrect because we just made a
The
change.
slide is incorrect for
Yeah.
everybody that's looking online because we just changed the numbers because of the health officer. All the selectmen in favor of this appearing on the budget? Aye. Okay. Warrant Article 3, land purchase. To see if the town will vote to authorize $500,000 for the purpose of acquiring land on Merrimack Road identified as tax map 12, lot 6, sublot 10, and to further authorize the execution of an 8-year 0% interest promissory note to finance the purchase of said property in accordance with the Municipal Finance Act, RSA 33, and to authorize the selectmen to issue and negotiate a said promissory note and all other pertinent documents related thereto. Further, to raise and appropriate $100,000 for the initial payment. If approved, the first payment shall be $100,000, is anticipated to be paid in the fiscal year 2026, with the remaining $400,000 of the purchase price being paid in installments of $50,000 made each following year for a period of 8 years. 3/5 ballot vote required. Note, $100,000 during fiscal year 2026, approved, and $50,000 per year thereafter. Anybody have any questions about that? None? Selectmen in favor of this appearing on the ballot?
Aye.
And
What do you got?
that would be,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that's 100,000, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not even right. I don't even know. You have to do, that one almost needs 2 lines. One for the first year, which is 100,000, and then another line for the 50,000.
Which would be half of whatever the 100
Right.
is.
Do you know what I mean?
But the 100,000
Is this year.
is 10 cents tax impact
Okay.
per thousand.
So then the 50,000 is 5 cents.
Yes.
So in other words, if your house is valued at 500,000, at 10 cents per thousand, that's $50. $50 to be able to, right?
Someone's.
Alice, did you want to speak?
I'm sorry, I didn't know, I thought I was on mute. I thought I was mute.
Mute you, Alice.
Right? Just make sure that I'm getting this correctly. So it would be 500
Take your fingers.
times, I know, 10 cents equals, is a whole $50 that would go for the first year to be able to help purchase that piece of property for future town use, to be able to put our new municipal buildings when the time comes and we're able to do it. And then thereafter would only be $25 for the next following 8 years to finish paying off that interest-free loan that we're getting it at. That's all that we're asking with this warrant. Just so that people out there wanted to know on Facebook and all of that, roughly what the fees would be. The initial year would be $50 for a $500,000 house, and then $25 for the next 8 years to be able to help purchase that piece of property. Go ahead, Dan.
And you eliminate finance charges by doing this.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's a
100%.
key.
Right.
Warrant Article 4, Fire Department 24/7. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $370,000 to fund the 24/7 Fire EMS Department as voted in Warrant Article 17 in 2024. If this article passes, it will then be included in the future year's budgets. Does anybody have any questions about that? I tried to word it the best way so it was very simple, so people can understand what it's for and what it does.
I think we should, as we read it again, add to say that it's being added to the current
Right.
budget.
Added to the current budget.
Right. If passed,
If
it will
passed,
be added
yeah.
to the current budget.
Yep. Okay.
In addition to, because
In
it's
addition
gonna
to
be
the
like
current-
600.
Right, it's in addition to the current budget, so. All the selectmen in favor of that being on the,
And, that is. What happened? Oh, 36 cents
okay,
per thousand for tax impact.
all right. All those who want this to appear on the ballot as written, or close to as
Aye.
written, we'll re-vote them. If we have to rewrite any of these, we'll bring it up at a selectmen's meeting and just re-vote it.
Correct.
That way,
Correct.
you know, it's.
Everybody knows,
Yeah, that way it's all
transparency.
exactly. Warrant Article 5, contingency fund. To see if the town will vote to establish a contingency fund, not to establish. Yeah, actually, this wording is DRA. So
Yeah.
vote to establish a contingency fund pursuant to the provisions of RSA 31:98-A for the current year for unanticipated expenses that may arise, and further to raise and appropriate $40,000 to put in the fund. The sum to come from the unassigned fund balance, any appropriation left at the fund at the end of the year will lapse into the general fund, majority vote required. So just so everybody knows, we didn't touch our unassigned fund balance, so it's gonna go back we didn't touch the contingency fund. So it's gonna go back into the unassigned fund balance, and this passes, it comes back out. So right now, we've passed this 3 years in a row, or 2 years in a row. This will be the third year this is on the ballot. It doesn't cost us anything now. Now that we've done it, it's still there, and we haven't touched it. It's a just in case, that's all it is.
Should we add no tax impact?
No, we'll add the tax impact stuff after.
No, there's no tax.
Right, but
Yeah.
we'll add that language on the bottom after, but I just want everybody to know that we've done this for 2 years, so this is a net zero for the town, because we're not, it's money that's going into the unassigned fund, because we didn't touch it, and then we're gonna take it back out and put it there just in case we need it. Anybody have any questions about that?
I have a question, back to the land, if we can for a second.
Sure.
Can the land be sold if the town later decides that it's not needed?
I think that is going to be part of the negotiations with the selectmen with the passage of this. So like, this is, the land thing is to allow the selectmen to negotiate the promissory note.
Yeah.
There may be language in there that the owner may demand that language in there is that the town cannot sell it, which is fine. But we don't know that yet because we're not there. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, I can tell you right now, the landowner that's selling this in the town, that will be a provision in there that the town cannot sell that land.
Perfect.
That's why he's doing it the way the package is being done.
Sure.
So pretty basically, here's the deal. The landowner loves the town of Newton, lived here basically his entire life, wants the town to have this prime piece of real estate to be able to do what we talked about, which is to have all the municipal buildings in one location, be able to have a central town common for everybody to congregate so that we could have our town functions there, the cookouts, the Halloween things that we do. There would be plenty of parking. And because he's given it to us at that price, these are what he's asking. Otherwise, his children would receive this property and they would get a lot more money for this land than what he's given it to the town for. And this is his only requirements, is that he doesn't want to see it dealt with the way some of the other property in this town has been handled. And he was pretty disgusted when that happened. So that would be why he's putting this contingency on the sale of this piece of property. And that's it in a nutshell.
That was from Diane Warren of Juniper Lane.
Yep, it's a
Thank
good
you,
question.
Diane.
It is a good question.
But I think if you really look at this, the price is a discounted price. There is no funding that goes with it, and you can see the person has a vision for what this town needs, and I think that's the spirit of what we need to understand there.
Absolutely.
That is a gift to us.
and the location,
It's perfect.
you know?
It's perfect.
Yeah. Okay, we gotta vote on the contingency fund. All those in favor of putting this on the ballot?
Aye. That's unanimous.
All right. Warrant Article 6, Highway, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $200,000 to be deposited in the Highway Construction Revolving Fund, majority vote required. As you guys know, we've decided 2 years ago, this will be the third year that we're doing this, that there was a lot of complaints about the roads. And instead of increasing the highway department's budget on paving and incorporating it into the actual budget, we decided to break it out. It's a lot easier for people to understand that we have to fund this. And again, this isn't even enough. What'd we say, $5 million? And even that wasn't, this is still a Band-Aid, but it's a bigger Band-Aid than we were using before when the highway paving line was $44,000. So yeah.
And if you've noticed, Michael has done an awesome job this past year getting some roads done because of his due diligence in being able to use what money he's had appropriately in order to be able to get as much done as he was for cost effectiveness.
All those in favor of this going on the ballot?
Aye. Unanimous.
That's 19 cents.
19.
19 cents
Okay.
per thousand.
Okay. All right. Warrant Article 7, petition warrant article to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $6,031 in support of the Lake Coast program and the Newtontown boat ramp for the 2026 summer season. The Lake Coast program is a collaborative effort between New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, New Hampshire Lakes, and local lake associations. It trains and employs individuals to provide a courtesy boat inspections to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive plants such as milfoil from one lake to another, thereby protecting public lake uses such as swimming, fishing, and boating. Citizens petition, majority vote required. So, briefly, somebody asked, why is this always on here? I think, in my opinion, not the rest of the selectmen, I think it's always on here because not everybody uses the lake. Not everybody uses the boat ramp. So the only fair thing for the selectmen to do is to allow them to citizens petition it, not for us to include it in the budget, since not everybody benefits from that one thing. We don't want we're not here to spend money on this portion or that portion. We try to do it as equally as possible throughout the town. And the best way for us to do this is to put things like this on warrant articles so the whole town gets to decide, not just us, by putting it into the budget. Does anybody have any questions about that? Hearing none. All the selectmen that are in favor of this being on the warrant?
Aye. It's unanimous.
It's unanimous. Last one, warrant article 8. Petition warrant article. The fields at Greenie Park are heavily used by Sanborn youth baseball and softball programs, families, and community groups. Routine repairs and so this is the intent, not the actual warrant, just so we're clear. Routine repairs and maintenance of the fields have been deferred over the last few years. This warrant article requests $7,200 be added to the town budget to address these needs, protect the town's existing investment, and ensure these community assets remain safe, accessible, and functional for the current and future residents. The warrant article reads as such. To see if the town of Newton will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,200 for the purpose of doing maintenance and repairs to the ball fields at Greenie Park. If this article passes, these funds will be part of the town operating budget in subsequent years. We'll steal that wording.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we'll steal that word. Matt Burrell is the one who wrote this.
Yeah.
And we'll steal that wording from that, because that works for the fire department one.
Both of those petition,
Political correct is we'll borrow that.
We'll borrow
Yes.
that wording.
Yes.
both of those petition warrant articles is 1 cent
Okay.
for each, both of them.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions about that? Hearing none. All those in favor of putting this on the ballot?
Aye.
Aye.
That would be
That's
unanimous.
unanimous. So,
Real quick, there will be a couple from the planning board that will appear on the ballot. And there's gonna be 3 of them, I believe. So one will be a citizen's petition about driveways. And Mr. Bavero will talk about that at the deliberative. Then there are two others that are going to appear on there. And it's simply a changing due to the state, the new laws that they passed concerning the, and I'm gonna have
Auxiliary
a
home units,
accessory dwelling, thank you, yes.
I'm like, I don't have
My
the file.
fellow planning board member. Accessory dwelling units, so when they revise that, we need to revise our wording on our coding here in town. So even if it gets voted down,
The state says we
the
have to do it.
state says we have to do it. So it's a formality that two of them are on there, but those two are applying to the same thing, just different logistics in the law as it is. So, just so everybody doesn't say, well, what are these extra ones, and nobody said nothing about them. If you come to the deliberative or pay attention to the deliberative, then you will also hear about them too.
So I do want to go back to the budget just because I want to point something out to everybody that's listening, even my board members, because I don't think we talked about this before. 2024 actual auditing, $39,000 in auditing. That's how much of a mess our finance department was. This year, $19,000 is what we spent on auditing, because the auditors didn't need to spend weeks here on end going through stuff and trying to make sense of the books. And I'm guessing, if I had to guess, this number will go down again next year.
Oh, without a doubt.
That is how ridiculous things were getting around here. I mean, you guys see it. When she brings something up to us and says, hey, this was never, and we're like, what? You know? So I think we're in a really good position and we're going in the right direction where we didn't have somebody in finance for what, 3 years?
Yep.
Somebody solid, right? Somebody who knew exactly what they were doing. Now that we do, I think we're gonna start to see a tighter budget, as we could see.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying earlier this year, which is department heads code things correctly, whether it's in their budget or not, so that the following year they can see where they overspent, underspent, and there's clarity. Because actually, we're a bottom line budget, right?
Of course.
So the department doesn't have to worry about the bottom line, our TA does, but that helps the TA identify, okay, if we're overspending in one category, where do I need to go find those funds?
Sure.
And we can make better decisions.
Yep.
The clearer the data, the better the data, the decisions are made based on data, not emotions,
Yep.
we will start to move forward a lot better.
And that's where we're gonna get, I would think during deliberative, there's gonna be a lot of questions. Sure. And a lot of it's gonna be, it was wrong for so many years, and now we're correcting it, because now we're able to find these problems.
Yep.
You know? I'm confident the jump, that 12% jump in the budget, half of that was stuff that we were probably already paying.
Probably.
It just wasn't in the budget.
It wasn't line item.
It wasn't for,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going and how they're being done right now. Hopefully we can keep this train going. But that is all we have for public hearing side of things.
Yep. And just so everybody knows out there that
The deliberative, I wanted to just say this,
Mi-
is
go
the
ahead.
31st, here in the town hall at 9 a.m. And election day is March 10th at the fire station from 8 to 8.
John Sylvia has a question, or is it Silva? I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Go ahead, John.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Ken now.
Yeah, I just wanted to double back on what you guys just said about, getting things in line. And as somebody that, sits on a couple of different boards, obviously unpaid and hears a lot of things, it's great to hear the progress that's being made to kind of rectify this. And, just simply with things like park and rec and zoning and, hearing
asking the question, well, why don't we have a line item for that? And why don't we have this? And, you know, people saying, well, that's just the way it's been. I'm glad that you guys are sitting up there and identifying these things and bringing them before and making people aware so that we can get moving in the right direction, and that's pretty refreshing. So kudos to you guys, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. And like John said, this is everything that we've always said over the past few years, dealing with this entire mess, that we've tried to be nothing but transparent, to let everybody know what was going on, what was taking place, what we were up against, what we were dealing with, and trying to just keep the doors open to this town. And I can tell you, it hasn't been easy. The board's been very diligent, and I would also like to point out, again, Mr. Guide's due diligence in the help of these past few years with the budgets, a new TA and finance person, Paula Mahoney, who has now got everything up to snuff where it should be. Hence, our assessing being taken care of now is so much easier, and everything is being addressed the way that it should, unlike in the past.
Yeah.
So that now when people do look at it and they look at the lines, like John said, they're able to see exactly where the money is, where it's being spent, and what's being taken place. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And that's
Non-public?
Well, just want to remind everybody that we do have our regular meeting next Tuesday.
Where we will discuss these warrant articles further and fine tune them.
Yep.
So at this point, we will end the public hearing.